Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good morning and welcome to my live podcast, Fight CPS, Keep Our Children. You're fighting CPS with Bob Pace. I'm the host, and this is broadcast on YouTube using the StreamYard application around the world. And you had found me on Facebook, Fight CPS Bob Pace, and I'm here to talk to you about saving your children and to, keep your children and things related to the child protection system. I want to give a warm welcome because I know how much you're struggling because it isn't fair. I know that most of you have been frustrated, and I have a lot of listeners and a lot of viewers that are going through this horrible thing with the child protection or the CPS. What I call the CPS, it means Child Protection System. It's all the entities that have many different names in every different county and every different state. So when I say CPS, I mean all of them. It's just that there's over 100 different acronyms, and I wouldn't have time to properly say that all the time. So I say CPS stands for the Child Protection System. It's a branch of social services that specifically to deal with the protection of our children from neglect and abuse. Furthermore, they're supposed to help family in needs, such in the areas of food, shelter, clothing, transportation, education, medical, and of course, getting a job. Those are all the areas. Furthermore, if they need to break apart your family because of extreme danger or violence to your children, they will take your children temporarily and hopefully place them in a relative instead of into foster care. Because foster care is not a good thing. They need to do what's called family reunification. That's where they got to put the family back together because they found out from studies that the best parents are the biological parents. So if they go to parenting classes or programs and help correct any of the neglects or the abuse that they had with their children. But unfortunately, that's not necessarily the case. I talk in a dream world where CPS, that all agencies and all counties really want to help out the families. That hasn't been the case. It wasn't my case when I was going through CPS where my children were trafficked into foster care, where they were alienated from us parents, and where unfortunately one of them was convinced to run away from their parents, all at the hands of the child protection system. The CPS is very corrupt. A lot of the CPS systems throughout the United States are corrupt. It's all about money. They've discovered how much money they can make. It's $1 trillion business, not billion, not million, but trillions of dollars. They make off having the children in traffic into foster care or have a case open against you. It's really hard. Now, I'm on the show 7 days a week, twice a day. And I um, start at 10 o'clock in the morning for 1 hour Pacific Standard Time, and then I come back on the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's every day of the week, except on Sundays. I do come on at 8 o'clock in the morning because I like to go to church. And so I go to church after my morning podcast at 8. I go to church, so I got to be there by 10:30. So that time is different. Also tonight, this Friday Night Lights is high school football. I'll be at a football game tonight at 7, so my show this evening will start at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So there's several ways that you can interact with this podcast. There's several ways. First way is just being in my room. I will so welcome you into my room. And that's where you can do emojis, such as thumbs up, smiley faces, and hearts. Also, you can send me stars. And not only send me stars, you can also follow me by checking the box below to follow me. And also, if you want to be notified when I'm live, then hit the notification button. So there's notifications and that kind of being said there. Now, even though I broadcast on YouTube, a lot of you use Facebook, and so the comments come in on Facebook. But I do get comments on YouTube. So let me see here. I'm trying to use my phone, but I got to be careful how I do it. Okay, I now have my YouTube opened on my phone, and then I have YouTube, of course, on Facebook. So I can let me turn down the volume there. There we go. So I don't hear the echoing. I have to turn my volume down. So I have a show producer who works very hard behind the scenes. I want to thank her for the help, and she helps answer my questions. She started yesterday telling me that I should look at YouTube and see the comments there, because when you log into YouTube, your comments will be displayed on YouTube. When you log into Facebook, your you log into Facebook, I'll see the comments. Now I can see the comments of both places, and I can be able to help you both on YouTube and Facebook. We still have some technical problems with Vonage, and so right now I don't have a way of talking to you on my podcast. So we're still working on that. Now, if you wanted to do something more and you wanted to, maybe ask a question, or you want to make a comment about CPS, you can do so. All you need to do is type it in, text it in. And make sure it's about CPS. We want to stick with the child protection system. Now, all you need to do is show me your name, and first name is fine. Your city, or if you don't want to give your city, your county where the case was in, the county and the state. Furthermore, I have also 14 countries that have shared questions and comments with me here about CPS. So they're welcome too. All I ask is the countries is to, besides their first name, is the city or the province, and of course the country that they're from. And I will try to help you with your questions. So far, I've heard from Bangladesh, New Delhi, India. In the continent of Africa, I've heard from Liberia in northwest part of Africa along the coast, a small country up there. Then down by Rwanda, which is a small country in central eastern Africa, near Lake Victoria. They're noted for an extreme civil war they went through, where over 1 million people were murdered and slaughtered and killed during a civil rights unrest. And then on top of that, over 500,000 females were raped, including men infected with AIDS. And it was sad because they were trying to wipe out the race of people in Rwanda. And so it wasn't as simple as a lot of other cases are. Now we go further up to Europe, and we have England, Scotland, and Wales, part of the United Kingdom, and Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond, we have North America, and we have Canada, where I've talked to several of the provinces there. And then down in the USA, all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., I've talked to, either voice or texting comments there. Then I've also talked in the U.S. to 3 social workers, which was great to hear their perspective. I've still yet to talk to a law enforcement about their perspective of CPS. I've also talked to several Native American Indian tribe people that are American Indians. And that includes in Canada the First Nation people. That's what they're called there. The Indians are our first immigrants. If you think about it, they came across the land bridge in Alaska and ventured east through Canada and then down south through the United States, and then further south down through Mexico, through Central America and South America. And that's been quite interesting. That's been quite interesting. Then we go down to Mexico, and I had a gentleman there looking for his daughters in Louisiana. He actually called from Mexico City. And then we go further south into South America. I've had Grenada, who's on the east coast of South America, east of Venezuela, north of Brazil. And then across the Pacific to the land down under, I've had Australia on the east coast with the Gold Coast in the Sydney area. Then on the south coast in Melbourne in the state of Victoria. So I've had a well-diverse group here around the world. So there's been over 500 some people I've talked to. The common thing they all seem to say is their kids were taken from them, they weren't in extreme danger, and a lot of the allegations were false. A lot of allegations were made up. And I hate to say it, but there's a bad part of CPS that we're struggling with. It's hard to tell the good from the bad. The 3 social workers I talked to were good people and very sincere. One of them was Carol from Maryland, and she talked for a good 40 minutes. She's a clinical psychiatrist, trained in college. She has a license. And then she also did 6 months of training with the Child Protection System in Maryland. And it was good to hear from her perspective. The second social worker was a third-party social worker, and she knew about the corruption and so forth. And it was interesting what she did. And then lastly was actually a foster care mother who said that she was not interested in adoption, only to take care of children. Again, these 3 individuals were very pleasant, very nice. I know there's good people within CPS. The problem is how to spot them. And it seems like over 500 some cases that the people encountered, social workers that were corrupt, that lied, and certainly did not try to protect your best interests. So it's important that you also be very complete with your CPS case when you text me, because at first you tell me what it is. I don't have to guess it or play ping pong ball with you. Now, what I mean by that is all you have to do is after you introduce yourself is just say that you're a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, lovers, or maybe you're a partnership with your relationship. Also, you need to know whether both parents are involved with the children or is one left and not interested. Anyway, the stats, that would be good there. And then also the ages and the sexes of your children. What were they there? So that's your kind of your family makeup. And then you could put in there anything else that you want to help me with your case. I need to know what the charges were, not neglect or abuse, but the details of what the neglect or the abuse was. That's really important there to hear from you on that one there. And also, how were your children taken? Did you give them up? Did they come into your home? Were the police involved? I'm very much interested in how the children were taken because I'm trying to look at a comparison around the country. And then where your last thing is, where you at on your case? Where you at on your case? So if you can tell me those things, I know they're lengthy and they're hard to repeat and stuff like that, but if you can tell me what they are, maybe I can help you. Maybe I can help you further. So that's what I mean being complete with your CPS case. Now, a third way of, being on this podcast or being a part of the podcast is you could be a guest. You could be on my show with the full audio and visual rights, and I can have up to 9 of you on my Facebook page. All you got to do is pick the date and the time that you want to be on my show, and you email it to my show producer, Grace. Her email, by the way, is grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's grace at vincentwdavis.com. Now, you would email her the days and the times you want. I've already told you I'm on twice a day. There's 14 shows to pick from. It's simple. All you do is say, I want to be a Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Saturday evening show, or Bob's morning Friday show. You just give the time frame, and the day of the week, Monday through Sunday. I'm on 7 days a week. That's 14 shows a week. I was checking for messages there. So once you've sent her the email, she'll write back to you, and she'll give the link on StreamYard of how to get on. Once you get on, you can stay there. Now, if you happen to fall off, you can reuse that link again. That link's good for the show. So that's all you have to do, and then she will contact you, send you the link, and then you get on the show. She'll also advise you that there is no names of children, social workers, or judges on the show there when we talk about them. Also, it's important that we don't talk about other things at the moment. So, other things at the moment. Now, she will go over what you can do during the podcast, such as no eating, no smoking. And also, we don't use the names of children, judges, or the social workers. She also will help you with your lighting and your audio. It's important to use a computer, but a phone is okay. Now, the fourth way we cannot participate right now is the call in. I usually put you on my speakerphone. So, right now, I've told you three ways of how to react to this podcast. One, by just finding his room and being there. And thank you for the emojis I'm starting to receive. That's good. Thank you, Matt and Dee. That's nice. And so I'm at my point of my show where if you want to interact with me, you can text me a message, or you could, well, you can't call right now either because her phone is not working there. So I have lots of ways I go on my show. I can either talk about topics. I have hundreds of topics that I could talk about. I can open up. Right now I have about 75 tabs opened, and there's all kinds of quick things we can talk about, like the ICWA Act of 1978, the Indian Child Welfare Act, or talk about a 388 motion. I can talk about how to make complaints either at the local level, the state level, or excuse me, I should say the local level, the county, or the state, and and the federal government. I can tell you how to do it and who to write and everything on there. Because I hate to say it, you're going to get some bad social workers and some bad peace, if you can call it peace here, when your family is disrupted. There's no question that was wrong. If it did occur, then they could straighten it out. She can straighten it out. I also have something called Core's Digest. It's an application I get and talks about CPS cases. Someone makes the question and then a person tries to answer it. And a lot of them are useful to us in this room. Another thing I talk about is my case, how it got started and what I was up against and what I did wrong. And then also you can we have 5 rules that I talk about dealing with CPS. I've given you rule number 1, which is the CPS itself directly. Okay. Now, I have some regular people that come into my room and some of them call, but with their phone down, it is kind of hard on that. Um, yes, hi, Deanna Robertson. I know you don't want to give up, and I'm glad you came to my room again. You're on me last night, Deanna Robinson, and I'm glad to have you. Um, you're from Ohio. I think it's Marietta, Ohio, if I remember correctly. And um, again, my phone is not working, but you could be a guest on my podcast. All you have to do is contact my show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com and tell them what show you want to be on, and she'll set you up. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com. So, what would you like to ask me today, Deanna? What question? If you can formulate it, I'll try to help you as best as I can. I'll try to help you. But a very warm welcome, and I know how frustrating it is about a case because I too had CPS. That was really awful. We have Deanna Robertson from Ohio who has an extremely bad case and she does want to give up. So she has a question here. How can I clear my record of CPS? That's not too hard to do here because you can do it, but it involves some little bit of busy work. To clear a CPS record, you can request administrative hearing to contest the findings and have an inaccurate report amended or expunged. The time frame for appealing a CPS determined varies by state. You can check with the state child abuse register to learn more about your rights and how to request a copy of your case files. You can also seek legal support and advocacy from a family law attorney with experience in CPS cases. Now, I mean, a dependency law is the field you're in. An attorney can help you understand your rights and responsibility and request your interest during meetings, hearings, and court proceedings. Even if your CPS case is closed, the records won't be gone forever. If another CPS case is filed against you, the authorities may reopen your old case. Now, when you have your records expunged of unfound CPS reports, you have to hire an attorney to take to court to legally have it removed. Otherwise, the CPS stays the records for 10 years after the youngest child on the report turns 18. So that means when the child is 28 years old. And sometimes they stay the record permanently. So, for instance, if you're in Texas, how long is the stay in Texas? It's 5 years after the case is closed. Now, if you're in California and you're in my county, which was the Orange County, you can file what's called a Welfare and Institution Code 827 petition with the presiding judge of Orange County Juvenile Court. You must first obtain authorization from the judge to receive copies of your records. You can also consider the following options to clean up your record. You can hire an attorney who can help you prepare your case and file the necessary documentation. You get a copy of your criminal record. You can use this to determine if your charges qualify for expungement. You can file a petition with the Superior Court of the county where the conviction occurred. You can also use the Orange County Public Defender's Clean Slate Program. This program can help you improve your opportunity for employment, professional license, or consumer credit. You can also use the Self-Help Center provide assistance. It was the California Clean Slate Act, a Senate Bill 731, which went in effect in 2023, automatic expunges certain arrests and criminal convictions. Now, it depends if there's a criminal conviction. If the CPS, that's not criminal. So the first thing you got to determine is there's this California Record Clear program, and it's for the expungement program that California has, and they actually have a free eligibility test and so forth, and they can look into that matter. So does that help you, Deanna? Does that help you? Hopefully that can help you on there, because you don't want that on your record, because it'll hurt you with jobs and it'll hurt you if you have another case again. Oh, they won't do it. I asked. So not well. Let me go ahead and specifically look up Ohio, because I think that's what you're talking about here. I really cannot believe that is the case. So Well, here's what um, the Google says: to clean a CPS case in Ohio, meaning to get it closed and potentially have your records sealed, you need a fully cooperative with the investigator's address. Any concern raised by the caseworker, follow the recommendations for improvement, and demonstrate a consistently of positive changes in your parent's ability. If necessary, you may also need to consult with a lawyer to understand your legal options and potentially file a petition with the court to sue your records once the case is closed. So, when your case is closed, then you can seal it there. The most important step is to cooperate with the caseworker. Allow them access to your home and children as needed and provide necessary information. I know that is so hard to cooperate with the caseworkers because it depends on your CPS workers. Were they corrupt? I don't know in your case whether you had good CPS workers, the child protection system workers, or corrupt ones. I don't know. You got to tell me. See, once the case is closed and you've demonstrated successive positive changes, you may be able to file a petition with the court to seal your CPS records, depending on the state law specific of your case. Each county in Ohio has its own Public Children's Service Agency, PCSA, which manages child protection service, so procedures will vary from county to county. I need to know what county in Ohio. And of course, you have the legal right to representation through the CPS problem, including interaction with the case workers. That's a lot of people forget about having an attorney or having an attorney protect or help you through all your matters with the CPS case. So I don't know. You may have had bad CPS workers, but your attorney can help you with that, Deanna. It's very important that you try to do that. Okay, I've had one comment. I have about a half hour left of my podcast. I'm looking for anybody else that may want to text me something that would do that. Well, I'm sorry I wasn't able to explain it too well with you. I was reading what I had found. You never had a case and never charged or anything. Then why do you need to seal your records? I'm kind of confused, Deanna. If you never have a C case, why are you? I'm here to help you. I'm sorry that I'm not seeming to be giving you the right answer. Now let me check my Facebook account. My Facebook, and see if there's been any further comments on the YouTube. Not. So far, I see no comments on YouTube, so it may be a sleepy morning. Now, what I was thinking about doing was talking about the question and answers with Cora. Okay. Now, before I go there, I would like to talk about my rules. It's been a while since I've talked about them. I have 5 rules that I've come up with. Rule number 1, of course, is to have an attorney. I cannot impress upon the importance of have legal representation. And I don't mean the court appointed attorney. I don't mean the court appointed attorney. What I mean is the attorney that is trained in family juvenile dependency law. That's the area that you're in. And you need an attorney that has fought CPS. Now, I have an attorney, and I want to thank him again, Mr. Davis. I already thanked him earlier in the part of the show. But he is a family dependency juvenile attorney. He has that experience. He's been fighting for 35 years, and he's also what's called a trial attorney. He can do trials. And on top of that, he is a pit bull of a fighter. Now, he has been fighting CPS for 35 years. He's also sued CPS in both state and federal courts and won lots, millions of dollars. So Mr. Davis does know what he's doing. He's a great attorney to have. Right now, I have a special deal with him set up to have a Zoom discount, private consultation with Mr. Davis for up to 30 minutes at $60 for 30 minutes. All you have to do is go to this website, https:// CANDILY/apps/VWD/Bob Pace. When you type that in, use your credit card and book your 30 minutes for a total of $60. And you'll be so much relieved because you're talking to a real attorney. And during those 15 minutes, he'll explain to you how to navigate through the message you're in and how to get your picture back in order. So, rule number one is to make that phone call. It's the most important thing you do in your life. And I really want you to do that. It really is important there. Now, when you do schedule that time, he will tell you about how to navigate in CPS, but you'll find out that CPS is just as hard as open heart surgery. Now, in open heart surgery, you get yourself a professional doctor that's gone through college and an internship, that's got a license, and that has completed some operations with Mentor before he starts to work on your heart, your pulmonary situation. So, with that in mind, you can also talk about retaining him. You can also talk about retaining him. All you have to do is go to, to retain him as your attorney, you call into the office at 888-888-6582. And you tell them that you want to retain Vincent Davis. Also, this number is also for a lot of attorneys that he has. He has attorneys that will practice in not only juvenile family dependency law, but also in divorce, criminal, real estate, job employment, insurance claims, criminal matters, anything you can think of. He has an attorney that can help you. He has an attorney that can help you. So I behoove you, you got nothing to waste because you're dealing with the agency like you're Alice in Wonderland. Now, being an Alice in Wonderland is a terrible thing because if you remember the story of Alice in Wonderland, she fell in a hole in her garden, a rabbit hole. And then she met that Chester cat that sent her to all these rooms that were bizarre. One room set off with your head. So the Child Protection Agency is very corrupt. They're nothing that you want to handle by yourself. You need that attorney present to protect your rights. You need that more than anything else. So if you get yourself involved with the case of CPS, first thing is you don't talk to them without attorney present. You don't discuss anything without attorney present. You don't let them in your home. You don't let them take your children and so forth. It's very important. So rule number one is get an attorney, and that's the most important thing you do with your case. So because it'll be a relief. I didn't have an attorney. At first, I used a court appointed. My court appointed attorney was a female, which nothing wrong with that. But she was only trained in criminal law, not dependency law. She also didn't fight for my case. In Orange County, you're allowed to be in the courtroom so you know what's going on. It's very deceiving. The Orange County child protection system is a very deceived place. I met with the director who's in the Taj Mahal of the place, and then that place and nothing but headaches for me for my 3 years. You see, my case was different. Is that my case got started on hearsay by lay people. They're my wife's father, mother, 3 sisters, and a brother that report things that are not true. So I don't know how much I can emphasize whether to go to the website for 30 minutes and talk with a Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis, or to retain him by calling my office at 888-888-6582. It's on the screen. That is my office. And so rule number 2 I have is getting your notes organized, getting your court papers organized. Rule number 2 is the paperwork part of your case. I use Post-it notes. I use envelopes. I use scratches of paper. I use my day runner. I use my management on my calendar. It was miserable because I didn't know where anything was or was at. And then when you start losing objects, you start getting concerned. So with rule number 2, go out and get a notebook 8.5 by 11 and make sure it's a 3-ring binder and at least 3 inches thick. And what you do is you stuff it full of notebook paper, and then you buy one of those 20 dividers and get your dividers installed in there for the kitchen small. Now, also in that notebook, you space your dividers with the different topics. One topic is your incidents. Every time you speak to the police, the children, your relatives, or the social workers, you record that incident. It's a time log, it's a timeline of what was taking place. And it's going to be very useful for you to have that time log. Now, that time log starts off on the first line with the date, the time, and the location and the people involved. Your next line is a full sentence describing what the incident was. And then your third line will be your Zoom message board that you wanted to sign off. Sign off. So that is my rule of number 2. Now, Deanna, if you're still in here, I'd still like to help you. We have about 5 minutes left of my podcast. 5 minutes left. Now, with this notebook, you repeat the instance, and also the third line is your summary, your answer. If you don't have the answer, leave it blank. You can come back to later. Always skip a couple lines. But the incident timeline log will be one of the most valuable things you do besides getting an attorney. Things that you can also put in the notebook will be your records, for instance, your parenting classes, your certificates. That's one subject matter. Then you can have your programs like anger management or domestic violence programs. You have copies of those. Then you put your court papers in there. Everything is in one location. It's hole punch and some normalcy to your case being settled completely and effectively.
Hi, I'm Attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.